the Romans, why did they convert to Christianity? And not only did a couple of them converted, actually the entire Roman Empire converted into Christianity. And this is the reason why we have Christianity today. It's because the most powerful nation at the time converted entirely all of its citizens into the Christian faith. So you have to understand the circumstances to this conversion. It was Emperor Constantine, and he mandated every Roman citizen to convert into Christianity. History tells a story that they weren't 100% sure why that conversion took place and why Constantine, the emperor at the time of Rome, was so enthralled in converting all of his citizens. Obviously, there was a lot of resistance, and you have to understand that the Roman Empire at the time controlled 2/3 of the civilized world. So things were going pretty good for the Roman Empire. They had everything at their disposal, and they had the lifestyle that they wanted. They lived like kings. The current religion that they had, it served their purpose, and they believed in the emperor. That's how they got to that power up until that stage. So then you have to ask yourself, well, if they have all of these things and they're in full control, why would they revert to a small secular Jewish religion that a Jewish prophet created? It's kind of demeaning to the Roman citizens. It's kind of saying that, we got it all wrong, and now we got to switch to a religion that a Jewish person put together. But that's exactly what they did. So the reasoning behind this goes back to one individual that actually introduced Christianity to the Romans, and this was the Apostle Paul. And what he did was astounding. Paul was originally called Saul, and he was a Roman citizen sent to Jerusalem to prosecute the Christians. And Saul made a reputation for himself in prosecuting Christians, and he did a pretty good job of it. So what Saul did was he went from city to city and searching out these Christians and condemning them. Saul set out to Damascus, another city, to weed out all of these Christians. And on his journey, this blinding light hit him and his entourage, and it knocked him off his horse. And then he heard Jesus' voice commanding him not to prosecute the Christians. And then right after that event, he was blinded. And he was given instructions by Jesus to go to Damascus, and he would find a solution. Goes to this city, and along the journey, he's not eating anything or he's not drinking anything. He's just in total shock. And he can't see anything. He's completely blind. So he goes to Damascus, and then Jesus instructs one of his followers to go to Saul and to heal him. Now, the problem with that is Saul has built this reputation of prosecuting Christians and putting them to death. Now Jesus is instructing one of his followers to go to Saul, and he pretty much says no. And Jesus has to speak to him twice. And eventually, he goes to Saul and he cures him. He heals his vision. And from that point on, Saul becomes known as Paul. He becomes the forerunner of spreading the Christian faith. So what Paul does from that point on is he is the one that sends the Christian message out to the ones beyond Jerusalem and Judea. and he goes from city to city preaching about Christianity and specifically what happened to him. For all intents and purposes, he was miraculously healed. Paul goes to all these cities and starts converting all these different faiths, anybody that he comes in contact with. And then he comes back to Jerusalem, and they're about to prosecute him, but they can't because he is a Roman citizen. So he avoids getting stoned. So he gets put on a ship, and the ship actually crashes on an island. But eventually it makes it to Rome, and they quickly put him into prison. What he does is he starts preaching the word of Christianity. And his pitch is simple. His pitch is exactly what happened to him. And that's exactly what he tells all the Roman citizens. He says, I was blinded by this power, and when he went to Damascus, he was healed by one of the followers of Jesus. He was miraculously healed. And he says that this power to heal is in everyone. And if you follow the Christian faith, you will have that power as well. The Romans thought he was just, insane, and they condemned him. But the power is inexcusable. You cannot avoid it. Paul actually taught several Roman citizens how to use this miraculous power, and they converted instantly. Just imagine the power to heal anything, and people today cannot see and that are blind. Wouldn't they have loved to live in that era where healing the blind was something of the normal? It was something that they did. And not only just heal the blind, they healed a whole slew of diseases and ailments. That message started getting passed around. Eventually, it overtook all the citizens in Rome. You really got a special power from practicing Christianity. And this continued up until it went to Constantine, 300 years after the persecution of Jesus. And he caught wind of this, and he found out that there is true power in Christianity. It's not just some folklore. This was actual true power given to the common man. So Constantine quickly wised up and said, there's something here. It's very powerful. The sky's the limit for people that have this power. I want to empower all Roman citizens. And that's what motivated him to convert the entire Roman Empire into Christianity. It was to empower his people